Well, everybody, welcome back to the Now Morning Show, your Wednesday edition, where we are getting ready to join our next guest virtually as he, Kendell Vincent, the chairperson of the Caribbean Youth Leaders Summit, gives us an update ahead of its culmination tomorrow. Good morning, Kendell, and welcome to the Now Morning Show.
Good morning, Ms. Williams, and thanks for having me.
An absolute pleasure. Tomorrow we get ready for the Caribbean Youth Leaders Summit starting, and the first question is, what is the Caribbean Youth Leaders Summit?
So thank you very much. Actually, the 7th Caribbean Youth Leaders Summit convenes from tomorrow. That is in Shore Park Complex from the 12th to the 15th. So that's from tomorrow into Sunday. It is really
Nice.
a regional gathering of young persons coming together from across the Caribbean through the kind courtesy of the Tobago House of Assembly and other stakeholders. These young persons across the Caribbean will be connecting to look at, it's really the first youth conference or regional gathering of this nature hosted by the Caribbean Regional Youth Council coming out of COVID. So therefore it creates an opportunity for young persons to meet, discuss and propose, not just propose, but work towards actionable solutions towards achieving the sustainable development goals across the Caribbean. So it's really about, this is about how do we address the youth development agenda coming out as we come out into post-COVID-19 era.
Okay. Now, granted that we are talking about actionable results, it means that a plethora of things will be explored, I imagine. The pandemic itself,
Definitely.
I understand things that, like global warming, will be also tackled. Are we looking at different conversations being had on different times or different dates? Can you describe to me how this summit rolls out?
Okay, so thank you very much. One of the things when we talk about actionable solutions going forward, so we do have the plenary sessions. That's where the respected expert speakers or persons would come, persons who are knowledgeable on different topic areas such as climate change, gender and inclusive development. We have a heavy focus on SDG 11, which speaks to sustainable cities and communities, as well as we're looking at, because I know crime is such an issue that impacts us all, not just in Trinidad and Tobago, but across the wider Caribbean. So we're looking at peace and violence as one of the issues affecting young persons. So when we talk about actionable, some of the things that we can look for, of course, we do have the plenary session, but the part that I'm really, really excited about is the youth action labs. And essentially with the youth action labs, what we have is our young persons, over 200 young persons, will be broken up into smaller groups where they can work towards proposing or coming up. Let's just say climate change, for example, is one of the issue. What you would have is young persons coming together in those different breakout groups and proposing solutions. But what we have is that because so much times we have conferences and the young persons would work, so they would come up with, or they would ideate and come up with a project or a concept that
Right.
they can work towards, or they can commit towards to be implemented, in their community, or within these same groups post the summit. So what you're gonna have actually is like these projects coming out. So post the summit. Another aspect of the whole agenda is really where we have our community service impact project. So what the young persons will be doing is on Saturday, actually, they would be going across the island, both in the east and west of Tobago, where they'll be engaging with community stakeholders
Okay.
through community projects. So those are just some of the activities scheduled for the upcoming Youth Leaders Summit.
Sounds great. It does sound, though, that there will be a combination of experts to guide these conversations, as well as those who will evaluate, I imagine, the outcomes. So describe to me a little bit as to how those processes will be explored. Who can we expect to evaluate, and perhaps when do we see some of the projects coming into fruition?
So one of the things that we actually engaged in is through this process is that we engage a range of stakeholders. And I say stakeholders to say I just want to mention a few, not just the Tobago House of Assembly, but we also do have the USAID. We do have the Commonwealth Secretariat on board as well. We do have CARICOM and other stakeholders, are engaged in the process. So what would happen is that the proposals or the ideas coming forward would be proposed at what is the CRIC General Assembly, and the CRIC is the Caribbean Regional Youth Council General Assembly.
And we seem to have a little technical difficulty there. Speaking with Kendell Vincent, the chairperson of the 7th Caribbean Youth Leadership Summit, happening tomorrow till January 15th. Unfortunately, things may be a little problematic with technology, but that will not stop the groups from doing what they intend to do, which is create incredible ideas and action them. So, Kendell, are you back with me?
Yes, I'm definitely just confirming that you can hear me. My apologies.
That's all right. It happens. And I imagine you might face those sorts of challenges because we're not just talking about youth within Trinidad and Tobago, but across the region.
But also, definitely.
We need to work on our internet connection. But you were saying, though, that there are a number of stakeholders who will, of course, as we say, evaluate and guide these discussions that happen across the region. You were describing to us some of the evaluations, rather, or some of the groups, rather, that will do the evaluations.
Yeah, so some of the groups that we have on board is some of our partners, of course, which is the USAID, the Commonwealth Secretariat, just to name a few. These are some of the partners that are on board for the 7 Caribbean Leaders Summits.
Right. And in terms of the rolling out now, because all of this planning, all of this great discussion will yield things that you need to action. What sort of timeline do we look forward to for those plans coming to life?
So one of the things that we want to do is be practical and realistic. So what we've broken it up into short, medium, and long term. And the short-term period would definitely be within the first 3 to 4 month period post-summit, so that you can look forward to seeing some action. And I think one of the first deliverables will be the publishing of the report, so that listeners can know this is what happened, this is what the young people agreed to, that is the publishing of the report. That would happen within a 2 to 3 week period. But the overall short term is 2 to 4 months, actually, 3 to 4 months. The medium term is where we're looking at on a longer range, maybe like 6 months than a year. And then the long term would be post 2023. One of the things that I forget to mention, Ainka, is that 2023 actually has been declared the Year of Youth by the Commonwealth Secretariat, and we here in Trinidad and Tobago have the pleasure of really kickstarting the activities through the hosting of this event.
In that case, let me say congratulations on starting things off with a bang. The Caribbean Youth Summit, Youth Leaders Summit rather, starts tomorrow, ends on the 15th of January. And if anybody wants to participate or get access to some of the information that you're going to be sharing, how can they do so, Kendell?
So the persons who want to participate, they can of course visit the social media platforms of Caribbean Regional Youth Council, or of course the social media platforms of the Caribbean Regional Youth Council, and we're located. So we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, and of course you will definitely see the link there posted as to how you can connect. Feel free to just shoot us a message, or you can reach out to us. You can reach out to me at 868-463-3350. That number is 463-3350.
In that case, let me say thank you ever so kindly for joining us this morning, Kendell, the chairperson to the Caribbean Youth Leaders Summit, happening tomorrow, the 12th of January, all the way till the 15th, where the future will be discussed by the leaders of tomorrow. Good luck, and we'll check you back in 3 months.
Definitely. So thanks for having me, and Trinidad and Tobago, do have a wonderful day.
And on that note, guys, we take a break. We come back with more action here on the Now Morning Show. Stick around.